20 minutes to go and we are live. Hello everybody, welcome to Forever Sports. Welcome to Forever Rugby. It is the British and Irish Lions time. We've been waiting for this for months, years in fact, and not necessarily this match itself, but British and Irish Lions rugby. You know, since the tour in New Zealand many years ago, that feels like, you know, it's been a long time since we've seen the red of the Lions, and today they are up against the Brave Blossoms, Japan, and it should be quite a cool match. I mean, quite apart from anything else, I think after the unsurety of whether we're going to get a tour, the unsurety of if we're going to have rugby, we're now going to have a British and Irish Lions versus Japan test, first time ever in Murrayfield. You know, fans in the stadium as well. It should be a really, really special occasion, being labelled the 1888 Cup, commemorating the first time the British and Irish Lions actually went on tour there to Australia many years ago. So it should be a really, really cool thing. So, I mean, you've got less than 20 minutes to kick off. As I said, all the action taking place at Murrayfield in Scotland. So it should be quite an interesting game, though. And we'll go through the lineups a little bit in before, but at the moment, we just want to sort of get settled in, find out where everybody's watching. We're going to put out a poll here to say who's going to win. Where's my poll gone? There we go. Right, so you can go and vote there on the poll there. We'll close that at about 8 minutes or so, maybe about 5 minutes before we start going to the team. But John, let me know where you're watching from. Let me know, you know, who you're supporting. Are we backing an underdog here in Japan? I hope Japan win and cause an upset. Yeah, so do I. I think it'll be really cool. I just hope that Japan pitch up. It's the first time they've played, much like the Springboks, they haven't played in international rugby since the World Cup. So the last time they played was actually against the Springboks in that quarterfinal loss. And obviously the first time the British and Irish Lions are playing together. And we're still trying to find out if this is officially going to be considered a test match. I don't understand why it wouldn't be. But, I mean, even, I think it was as close as yesterday, it was, Warren Gatland was saying they weren't sure if this was going to be granted test status and whether these players starting for the Lions will officially receive a test cap. I think it's, yeah, I understand the sort of the thinking of it, you know, that wanted to only sort of be give away test caps for on the tour. But I think that, you know, you play against Japan, quarterfinalists in the World Cup, they deserve the honor of being given a test cap against the British and Irish Lions. Hello, Grant. So how's Stephen hoping for a Japan win today? I think we're all hoping for a Japan win. I mean, I think we're all like an underdog story. I'm very interested to see how the British and Irish Lions play. Are they going to sort of? I think what we're going to see is that I think what the Japan are going to try and do to the British and Irish Lions is similar to what the Lions might be wanting to do against South Africa, and that's to try and keep the ball alive a little bit more and kind of steer away from the physicality of it. You know, you cannot go toe-to-toe with the Springbok pack. Japan can't go toe-to-toe with this Lions pack. So do the British and Irish Lions do what South Africa do and try and really impose their physicality and try and, you know, bring this Japanese side into a bit of a thud battle, or do they sort of stick to what they want to try and probably do in South Africa and throw the ball around, try and go to the width and stuff like that, use the width of the field and try and see if they can run well, I think they're going to try and run the Japanese flat, but you know, it's difficult to try and do that against Japan. You don't want to create a nice open game against Japan. They've got such a good skill set. They've got so many players who are very quick in and around the ball. That's where they're the strength are. So we all know how to beat Japan, but will British and Irish Lions do that, or will they try and sort of use this as an opportunity to try and start establishing the way they want to play when they will come down to South Africa on Monday or Tuesday? Scheduled to fly out. I think it's tomorrow night. Actually, I think they're supposed to be arriving in South Africa on Monday. Their first match will be next weekend, 3rd of July, up against the Emirates Lions. So it's going to be a horrible day to try and work out how we're going to differentiate the two teams. The Springboks will be in action on Friday night against Georgia. That will be their long-awaited return to international rugby. The team will be announced on Tuesday. Just received information about the press opportunity, so we're going to have a press conference tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, as well as Thursday. We're going to make sure we're trying to get into those press conferences, try and chat to Jacques and see what they've got to say ahead of this game. Yeah, please smash the like button. We're 4 people away from 1,800, so I'm hoping during the stream we'll be able to get up to over 1,800 subscribers today. Kenny Cooney, good afternoon. It says going for British and Irish Lions win. Too much fire before Japan. I mean, yeah, I have to agree, but we'll go through the teams in a few minutes. But it's a decent. I mean, it's not a phenomenal Lions side. I mean, I think that if you named this Lions side against the Springboks, they wouldn't. I don't think they'd cope very well. But it's not a bad side at all. A couple of players who I think will be trying to push and trying to justify their selection. A couple of people maybe trying to sort of push for that early chance to push for that test side. A couple of injuries. I'm saying something like Carl Sinclair coming onto the bench today wasn't even supposed to be on the tour and will now be on the bench for the first match as itself. So, it's interesting to see the way that they've lined up today. And I think that probably only looking at about maybe 7 or 8 players, I think, who probably would start that first test against the Springboks. But this is now the time, for these players like Bundy Aki, quite a surprise selection in the squad. He's got a game like today where he can go out. And I mean, if he goes and puts out a man of the match performance today, then suddenly they're going to go, maybe we should start looking at him as our starting inside centre for the Springboks, Julian van der Merwe, somebody on display today, also want to try and make a big impact. So it's games like this that a lot of these players who are new to the Lions, maybe even a bit new to international rugby, will want to try and make a big statement. You've got to try and put your hand up during these sort of matches, during this match, during the Lions match, Sharks match. You need to make sure that you're making impact early. You cannot afford to try and start gaining some form midway through the tour. Well, then it's too late. I mean, right now, Warren Gatland will have a penciled-in 23 that he thinks he'll probably start for the Springbok test. And it all comes down to players playing their way into that 23. And that starts right now, today. Kelly Cooney says at least 6 tries will be scored by the home side. Quite a big back in there. I hope that Japan manages to sort of keep that a bit less under wraps there. Grant Swart says, unfortunately, no Hamish Watson playing today. I love watching the guy. Yeah, I mean, the mullet. What's not to like about watching Hamish Watson? He's a very classy player. Lots of effort, big hitting, lots of physicality. He's got the mullet. So he just looks the part. Also very upset to see that he was ruled out. But I mean, to be able to then bring in Justin Tipuric is just childish depth. By the way, Japanese do have a few South Africans playing. They do. A couple of, and it's funny because lots of people will have a go at a team like Japan for having so many imports, for example. And then you've got like New Zealand, who've got, as Eddie Jones said, the 3 academies in Tonga, Fiji, and Samoa. But, we've got a South African, Johan van der Merwe for the Lions. We've got Lapis Labuschagne and Wimpy van der Walt on the Japanese side. So I think that the modern game, you're going to see a lot more of these sort of journeyman players who will lead their nations and go and represent other countries. I don't think there's any issue with it. I think that, it's at the end of the day, it's a professional game. I think in the professional era, that's what happens. We see it in football. We see players that like sort of 12, 13 years old being told, listen, like, and they're eligible to represent other countries, and people are going after them and saying, come represent us, come represent us. So, it's not a new issue, and I think I don't think it's much of an issue at all. I think it enhances the game. The world is much smaller than it was. It says former Munsterman Gerard van den Heever playing for them, solid player for us. Yeah, Gerard van den Heever was a good player actually. So it didn't quite make it. And I think it's players leave for 2 reasons. Either they themselves don't back themselves to be able to make it, and they think they can go. But a lot of these players leave because they get told they're not going to make it. Johan van der Merwe, CJ Stander. A lot of these players get told, listen, you're not going to make it in South Africa. You're too small. You're too this. You're too that. And I love seeing those sort of players go over and proving a point, coming back and playing, because I think that we get far too dismissive in this country, and we rule our players too young. I mean, how many players have we said are not going to be good enough, and they sometimes retire or they don't really pursue it properly? And yet we've got so many players who can be late developers. Somebody like a Piwa Dianti wasn't even on the spectrum of professional rugby. 24 months before he became the World Breakthrough Player of the Year. I mean, there's so many players who sort of peak at different stages and that suddenly start going through a run of form. So you can't just sort of discredit just because you didn't play under, SA under 19s, SA under 20s, SA schools doesn't mean you can't become an international rugby player. That's why I get frustrated with all these players who go overseas because they get told they're not good enough. And it often comes back to bite us. I mean, CJ Stander could have played, 40, 50 tests for South Africa. Maybe Johan van der Merwe could have played a couple of tests for South Africa. A lot of these players, I think, that could have made a difference to the South African cause. 10 minutes before kickoff. If you're trying to find a stream for this, as I said, it's in the comments there. So it's being shown live on the for free in the UK on Channel 4. And if you're in South Africa, you can still access that. If you use a VPN like ExpressVPN, I did some testing this morning and it does work. So if you want to use ExpressVPN, you can get a monthly subscription or something like that, and that can give you access to Channel 4 where you can stream the game for free. So ExpressVPN itself is not free, but it's actually a very worthwhile investment in terms of being able to watch the being able to watch the game, stuff like that. Grant Swartz, to be fair, Piro did have some help to boost his chances. No, to be fair, I'm still frustrated at the Piro Dante. I maintain, I reckon what happened with him is that he was desperate to play the World Cup. A couple of people said, listen, we can try and rush your treatment, and I think that was where the substances came, to try and get him back from injury sooner. That doesn't make it right, doesn't make it wrong, but I think that, with the right guidance and with the less pressure, if he hadn't been injured, I don't think that would have been the case. Gutted situation for him. I hope he does. We do get to see him. I also love a redemption story. I think he's a bit different to the likes of like Chiliboy Ralapelli, who's been nailed like 14 times. Luis Kevin Sean says, amazing game. Thank you for streaming. Hey, from Brazil here. Yeah, let me know where you're watching from. Let's get some score predictions. We've got 10 minutes to go before the game begins. What are your score predictions? Is it going to be a big scoreline, maybe a close scoreline? Are we going to see proper test match rugby where it's, penalties and stuff like that? Are we going to see a bit of a try fest? What do you think lies in store for us? We'll leave the poll up for another couple of minutes, but let's have a look at the two teams playing today. Right, for the British and Irish Alliance, starting right at the back, Liam Williams has got his compatriot Josh Adams there in the number 14 jersey. The other wing will be Duran van der Merwe. The two centers today, Bundy Aki and Robbie Henshaw, national teammates, and I think Bundy Aki is particularly under a bit of pressure to try and perform today. The halfback combination will be Conor Murray and Dan Bigger. I think that could very well be the starting combination against the Springboks. The loose trio, Justin Tipperick is in for Hamish Watson. He joins Jack Conan and Tadek Byrne. Alun Wyn Jones and Ian Henderson are the two locks today. Tadek Furlong has come into the starting lineup because of the injured Rory Sutherland. He is with Ken Owens and Rory Sutherland in that front row. Off the bench, obviously English players in the starting lineup, but on the bench, Jamie George, Wyn Jones, Carl Sinclair's the front row replacement. You've got Courtney Laws, Tlapo Falatau there as well, and then Ali Price, Owen Farrell, and Anthony Watson will cover the rest of the field. I'm interested to see what position Owen Farrell comes on in. If they're going to put him in the centres, if they're going to look at him at fly half. Obviously, you've got something like Tadek Byrne who's quite versatile, which is why you can have something like Courtney Laws, as well as Telapai Falatau. But if we're looking at the Japanese side, and about 10 of the players, I think they were part of the quarterfinal loss against South Africa, who are playing today. So, going from the back, we've got Ryu Tamanaka, Kotaro Matsushima. He's obviously South African, raised, went to school down in Grahamstown, in fact, at Graham College. We've got Timothy Lafayette, very good ball carrier, Ryoto Nakamura, and Susuya Fifita. Utamori is a very classy operator there at fly half. He's got Keito Shigeno inside him. Amanaka Mafi, Lapis Labaskakni, and Michael Leach are the loose trio. Michael Leach, probably the most important player in that Japanese side, a very, very accomplished player. James Moore, originally from Australia, is partnered with Wimpy van der Walt from South Africa. Kujiwan, Atsushisha Sakata, and Keita Inagi are the front row for the Japanese. And then off the bench, we're going to have the likes of Kasuka Horikoshe, Craig Miller, Asia Alavalu, Jack Cornelson, Kazuka Himino, Tavita Tefau, Naito Saito, and Rikia Matsuda. Yeah, the players for me to watch are for Japan. Number 13, Lafayette is a very nice player, very physical ball carrier. I think that Michael Leach is obviously very important for them. We've seen how good he's been in the past. One of the major players for Japan, and he's been such an important player for Japanese rugby, not just for the team, but just in terms of the way that he's been a major part of this side and the journey that they've been on. Led them at the World Cup. He's been part of a very important project. I think that let's be honest. Japan are a side everybody wants to see do well. Nobody dislikes Japan. I think they're a very likable side, and I just hope, as I said, I hope they don't embarrass themselves today just because of that lack of playing time. As I said, they haven't had a lot of opportunity to play a lot of rugby. So it'll be interesting to see what they look like. Right, I'm going to end the poll there, so we'll see. It looks like people have gone 71% towards the British and Irish Lions to win today. Why can I not? There we go. Right, so let's get some of the comments here. So, Sean Farrell says 7 points for the Lions. Kenny Cooney says it was bittersweet when CJ was on the Irish team that beat SA in 17. I messaged to SA to let know that that requires what each player must have. And Grant Swartz, at this stage, Shitty Boy's buddy, basically a pharmaceutical company. Good shout. Yeah, and you know what frustrates you about him is that he was then trying to get appeals decision, and he's like, it's more just to show that I didn't cheat. I mean, when you've been busted about 4 or 5 times, I mean, what leg can you even begin to try and stand on? I mean, it's absolutely rubbish to even begin to try and think that he wasn't actively using. Here we go. The Japanese are out in a blue kit. That's a nice kit, by the way. Obviously, can't be wearing their red and white because it'll clash with the British and Irish lines. But that's a very, very cool looking shirt. I'm telling you, I'm gonna start my collection of shirts here. So the final 14 votes there. We said British and Irish lines 71% to win, so not too many people back in the track. A couple of people are though. I said I'm hoping for a nice, good game. You know, we just want to see some nice test match rugby. We've seen some fantastic rugby so far. In the Currie Cup last night was a brilliant encounter between the Pumas and the Bulls. Very nice encounter between La Rochelle and Toulouse in the top 14 final. A bit of a messy encounter, but still was pretty watchable earlier with the Griquas versus the Cheetahs. So let's hope that this is something that we can really, really enjoy. Right, waiting for the home side to come out. There it is. They've got Bill. It's been led up by Alun Wyn Jones. Here they come. Oh dear. Just a few minutes away, 3 minutes away. Alun Wyn Jones. I'll be interested to see if he does start the first test. Actually, I think that a lot of people are backing him not to start, but I think he's a very good player. I've got no issue with that. I think a lot of South Africans. Look, I mean, to be fair, it was pretty much one particular writer who was kind of ruling him off. I want to get my hands on that Japanese jersey. I want to get both of these jerseys. I mean, I think we'll bin the green screen and just have jerseys behind. You know, this Japanese one, the British and Irish Lions one. Put a couple of jackets up. Quite cool, actually. Well, we can't see anything because all the fireworks have gone off, and I think the firework. What better excuse to open a beer than to see a couple of fireworks? Cheers, everybody. 4 o'clock here in South Africa, 3 o'clock over there in the UK, but definitely beer time. How's the dirt on my beer? Oh, that is nice and cold. That is nice and cold. There we go. Just a few minutes away before we can finally get underway. Last chance for your score predictions. Let me know what you're thinking down in the comments there. Waiting for the national anthems to start here. Having a moment of silence here. No, I was about to say, I don't know what was going on there. Japanese national anthem is underway. So yeah, last chance. Get your score predictions down there in the comments here. What are we thinking? A big score line? I love how they come in and they're socially distant. You gotta love the logic. I mean, I understand the sort of thinking of it. But I mean, everybody must run out and socially distance before you then spend the next 80 minutes lying on top of each other, running into each other, you know, and the likes. It's just, it's a bit farcical, to be perfectly honest. Oh, here we go. I wonder how much the national anthem the likes of Wimpy van der Walt and Labuschagne do. No. Right, Leeds Cafe Chocolate's going to say Lions 51-7 Japan. So they're predicting a big Lions victory. I don't think you're particularly far away there. I think it will be quite a big scoreline. Right, anthem underway. Well, finished over there, so we're just moments away from kickoff. The jackets are coming off. Players are taking to the field. Japan will be playing left to right, right to left from the lines in the normal red kit for the Japanese. They've got a new kit out today. I've never seen them in a away kit. But I'll tell you what, it looks pretty good. And I'm actually going to try and see if I can find one. Probably be too expensive anyway. But Jamie Joseph is the coach of Japan. Very accomplished coach, knows what he's doing. And this Japanese side, look, if nothing else, they'll be well disciplined. They'll know what their strengths are. They'll try and play towards their strengths. They'll be very, very well drilled. So don't expect them to lie down. There will be a decent side. Right, Jacques Kuhn saying British Lions 42, Japan 24. So they've got two people who are predicting almost 60 points across this game. I hope that we get a nice high-scoring game. Not obviously too high-scoring, and it'll be particularly nice if both teams manage to get a couple of tries under the belt. But let's just hope for some really, really nice rugby. Gregor Townsend, they're looking very good in his golf. He's got Warren Gatton next to him. I think those two are going to make a very interesting combination. Gregor Townsend of Scotland playing such nice rugby, and if the British Lions kind of replicate that, I think we're in for what should be a very, very cool tour. I mean, let's be honest, Springbok Rugby has never, ever been the prettiest of games. So, if the British Lions can bring some flair, then that'll just sort of spice up the things a little bit. Pascal Kazera is the referee today from France, hoping for a big performance from him. That's what we need during this tour. We need good refereeing performances. The last thing we need during, such an amazing spectacle is to have to worry about what the referee's doing. Oh, it's actually Japan playing right to left here. They line up left to right, and they obviously swapped after that. Just waiting for the whistles go, and the timer is on. And tomorrow gets us underway, going deep towards inside the 22. And it's an early touch on the ball. Not sure who it was there, but Conor Murray's going to shape for his first box kick of the afternoon. And he goes nice and deep. That's the fly half Yamanaka who's underneath it. A nice carry there by Mafia. So Japan on the just on the halfway line in the middle of the field now. First time they're going to be in the back line in, so they're going out wide, running through the hands as much as Shima, who gets away from Bundy Aki, runs into in front of Mervyn and Robbie Henshaw. Got his knees to the ground though, so they have to release. Yeah, that's the physicality that comes. A big hit on that from Alun Wyn Jones there, nice early on. But Japan got a bit of space on the out wide here. Michael Leach down the channels where he always is. That's a solid carry. Can he stay in? Yes, he does. Very nice work there from Fafita. But eventually goes out. Not bad by Japan. You can see there's already a bit of space out wide. And that's what they'll do. They'll run the hands. That tight five, you often don't see them necessarily running first phase right by the ruck. They'll often sort of have, the front row or, the two locks sort of sitting in the middle of the park, keeping the likes of Michael Leach on the side, and even Lapis Lapiskakni down on the wings. And they just play very quick rugby. Ball and play is often very high in Japanese games, and they kind of just run their opponents rugged. So there's some nice handling there from solid lineup win there from the Lions though. Ken Owens with the ball, he picks up and goes. Now it looks like Conor Murray getting ready for another box kick. Yeah, that goes high. That's a contestable kick. And it's been knocked back. I think it was from Josh Adams, but Japan have won it back, so it's available for Japan. Running through the hands, goes straight out to the wing to Matsushima, who's got lots of pace. His nickname is Ferrari. He gets on the outside, doing in front of Merva, trying to find the ball inside. Eventually gets wrapped up. Did his job to do in front of Merva, but they almost managed to get it. If he can get an inside ball, they give him away. So that's an early warning sign. You don't want to give Matsushima some space. He's got a lot of gas. Very skillful player. And they just measured it up, and he was getting away from Fanamova. Eventually managed to grab onto his shirt and drag him out. It was well played by Robbie Henshaw to stop the ball inside, because I think that if he had managed to get it, it could have been a bit of a 2-on-1 situation there. So nice early play. First maul of the day here from the Lions. Another solid lineup win. I don't expect them to lose a single lineout. They can't be. They've got too much height, and we were losing lineouts. But it's just So the Moors going, they've won about 5 meters, they're looking to use it now. And they go down to Dion van der Merwe for first touch for him. It's a solid carry from him. He's still going, not held on the ground. Alun Wyn Jones with his first carry of the afternoon. Conor Murray goes to Dan Bigger. He puts it up. That's looking for distance as opposed to making contestable. Matsushima's underneath it. Oh, he spills it first time. Takes in the second. Goes himself. Runs straight into Robbie Henshaw. And it looks like he's going to be held up here, mate. Oh, no, he's gotten the ball away. There's a knock-on from the lines. They've got an advantage to Japan. Going down the left-hand side now. Little grubber in behind. They'll set up. No, it almost set up very nicely. Matsushima keeping it alive. Going towards the middle. Tell you what, for a side that hasn't played in a long time, this Japanese side looks very, very confident. Going out, well, and as I said, that Leach has knocked it forward. Very uncharacteristic from the Japanese captain, and they've conceded a penalty as well. I think not rolling or holding on was the call for Michael Leach after locking the ball forward. Pity because they're going down the right-hand side. Good early signs here from the visitors. And a sign of intent there from Dan Bigger, who kicks straight towards the corner. The British and Irish Lions, they want to try and start off with a bit of a bang. It was a very nice kick behind earlier, and I think if Yamanaka managed to hold on to it, it would have been quite interesting. Not a great pass to Leach from Tamura, but I think, Leach probably should have held on. It was sort of a little bit low, but not the worst pass in the world. Right, so Ken Owens here will probably find the likes of maybe an Alun Wyn Jones in the line-out here. Ian Henderson as well. Lions having a bit of a conference call. What's going on here? We're having some running repairs there. I was a bit confused. Everybody's sort of standing around. The medics are on. The water boys are on. Japan sitting there waiting to get going. So Tadek Furlong getting some tape on his head. I'm assuming it's a little bit of blood. Wasn't supposed to start today. Coming in for Zana Ferguson. Right, so early chance here for the British and Irish Lions. The last ball, they gained a few meters, but it was pretty well defended actually by Japan. But this is where they're going to try and sort of stab their authority. They know that they've got the power. They know they're more physical. It goes up to Tadek Bird towards the back, and it was a messy win. They've got an advantage. I don't know if it's a penalty advantage or it's just a knock-on. The knock-on there. Big carry there from Rory Sutherland. Low ball here for the Lions. Now Ian Henderson, that's a solid carry from him. Conor Murray snipes himself, gets up to within 5 meters. And Japan have won a penalty. That's a huge moment there. Very nice by them. There's Ian Henderson, Conor Murray, who'd gone on a bit of a sniping run, found himself a little bit isolated, and they managed to win a penalty on the ground. So good work there from Japan. Grasswasp, my dodgy stream is way behind you. It is the problem with getting streams. Now, I've actually put in a whole new setup so that I'm getting a direct feed from the TV so that I'm completely live. But because I also have that issue as well. That's such a pain in the ass. Yeah, Conor Murray just by himself here gets completely isolated. Ken Owens is there to help, and his players arriving too late, so it's an easy turnover win from Japan. A nice moment for them. And you can see what it means to them. They're very hyped. It was a messy line win there, I think. Their broadcast was a bit poor there. But Japan have managed to, it's a very nice leg drive there. And they're inside the British Irish Lions territory. Going down the blind side here. Not too much space, so Lafayette takes it into touch. Could be front of vault. Here we go. Tamura goes himself, frees up the hands. Does get it away. But the man is wrapped up. Here we go. Man outside! Release him! If they had released him, it would have been around on the outside. Trying to run for the Moors. His knees on the ground. No, they've turned it over. He should have released. Had he released, that could have been a try time. There are players on the right there. I think it's James Moore is the man who didn't do it. We've got Alun Wyn Jones who's down here. That's not good signs to the Lions. They've already lost a couple of players to injury here, and Alun Wyn Jones does not look particularly happy. Not quite sure what the injury is. Still down is Alun Wyn Jones, the Lions captain. And I think they've just indicated for a substitution, so this is a very big blow. Oh, it's his wrist. That doesn't look good. That doesn't look good at all. Yeah, it's his wrist that's the issue. That's a broken wrist. That's his tour done and dusted before he's even boarded a plane. So it's at the rack here. He goes down to have a go at it. That's why I have to rely on dodge streams here. And that is, yeah, he's going with clutching his wrist. He doesn't. Right, so here comes Courtney Laws. That's a horrible, horrible way for Alun Wyn Jones to lead the field. I hope that's not it, eh? It looks like his wrist is gone. I'm hoping it's not broken. If it's broken, that's his tour over. Yeah, to be fair, I think he thinks it's serious. Looks like he's on the verge of tears, Alun Wyn Jones. I think that he reckons his tour could be over. That would be heartbreaking if it is. Yeah, Grasswatch, I'm going to be doing a video in the next couple of days on the best ways to watch the game so that you can hopefully avoid dodgy stream stuff like that. So I'll have that in the next few days. Luca Jones says, hello, Luca Jones, welcome. So we'll resume with a scrum just above the Lions 22. Touch wood, that's nothing serious for Alun Wyn Jones. It'll become so heartbreaking. He's such a nice character, one of the greatest ambassadors of the game. If this is a test cap, I think he becomes the most capped Lions player ever, with 10 tests for the Lions. So, you know, if that's the end of his tour, then that really would be heartbreaking. Such a nice person is Alun Wyn Jones. That's a short-term penalty there from Japan for early engagement. And Michael Leach is going to himself, takes it quickly, gets up to the 22. Murphy now takes it up. Just inside the 22 now. Early up was Dan Bigger. Drives him back. It's a nice tackle there by the number 10. Back to the captain, Michael Leach. He puts his head down. Quick ball here. Tamura running through the hands. It's a very nice take by Matsushima, who darts inside. He had to. He didn't have much space to work with. Doing more. His knees are on the ground, ref. That's harsh. His knees are on the ground. Yeah, the Japanese players are not happy about it. They're saying his knees are on the ground. I completely agree. I mean, his knees were on the ground for a while before we even called more. They're trying to pick him up. His knees then go down there. So you can see that's a tactic from the British Irish Lions, try and hold the Japanese players as much as they can, try and impose their physicality. But I think that his knees on the ground there. Grant Swart says that does not look good for LJ. Corey Petler says I'm gay. Well, good for you. Congratulations. Defense on a loud chair gets blocked by the government. Oh, well, that's just a blooming stuff up, isn't it? That's a disaster. I mean, it makes sense, to be fair, but that is a bit of a disaster. Well, then tell them to jack up and get some rugby over there. That's actually a very solid scrum from Japan. They're not giving an inch away to the British Irish Lions. It's available for Conor Murray. He has to use Ngozi Dambigo, who will boot us downfield. That's actually, I reckon that's a bit of a win for Japan, the fact that they managed to hold that scrum up. So, yeah, no scrum dominance there from the Lions. Nice touch finder there from Dan Bigger. Does this mean Owen Farrell could be the Lions captain for the tour? I hope not. Surely we can find a better candidate than Owen Farrell. know what the sad thing is? I mean, does Owen Farrell start in this Lions side? I'd be interested to know what everybody thinks. Because I didn't think he was particularly good in the Six Nations. I mean, I know that he's been a phenomenal player for the last couple of years. But, yeah, I mean, he's the obvious candidate. A little chip over the top from Japan. Bounce favors them, and I think they had a penalty advantage. No, sorry, it's British Lions who got an advantage. That Dan Bigger take it quickly. But out of position was the call, so they had to go back and retake it. It was almost away. Second time the ref made this mistake. Yeah, I mean, you can see, and Japan they're not stupid, so they know now that the Lions are trying to hold them up. So as soon as they get wrapped up, the first thing they're trying to do is get their knee on the floor. And I definitely thought that Masashima had his knee on the floor. Oh my goodness, we've got another player down. Dan Bigger's down this time. I mean, the Lions players have all played a full domestic season. You'd think that it would be the Japanese players who'd be struggling with the physicality, but Alun Wyn Jones has gone off with what looks like a wrist issue, and now it's Dan Bigger who's down receiving treatment, so it's not a good start for Warwick Gatlin's men, who are dropping like flies at the moment. The penalty here goes to Dan Bigger, who tries to take quickly. Gets the pass away to Conor Murray, and I think that Murphy had him covered anyway. Rodka says a Toje captain first test. I think even he's someone who's sort of in the periphery of whether he'll start. I think that Tadek Byrne, Ian Henderson, I think with now Alun Wyn Jones, I think that'll be a big boost to Mario Toje starting opportunities. A lot of people have been calling him captain. I've never really seen him as a captain, to be honest. I think that when you haven't captained at club or your national team, to go and captain the Lions is a huge step. So I've never been that convinced by the Itoje shout. Right, so Lions on the 22, solid line win there from Henderson. Goes to Tipperick. It's a very big line run by Bundy Aki. He makes a lot of meters. Is eventually brought down by Michael Leach. Goes now to Ken Owens. He gets past the 5-meter line, so the Lions are right on the doorstep here. Bigger goes to Robbie Henshaw, wrapped up by tomorrow. Josh Adams, and he'll go over. First try of the day for the Lions. It's Josh Adams, the man who scores it. On debut for the Lions, and Josh Adams has a 5-pointer on his name in the first 15 minutes. Very nicely worked there. It's Bundy Aki there who makes all the thing. I mean, he hits that line with speed and pace. Powers over. And then they go to the short side. Numbers aren't great. Tamura makes a nice tackle. A couple players get sucked in. And Adams goes inside. Yeah, it's pretty poor from Fafita, who gets completely stepped away from. And then it's a difficult tackle to try and make. Grant Swart say, I didn't think Farrell would make the starting lineup, but with this injury to Alun Wyn Jones, confirms for starting 15. Well, I suppose, yeah, they need a captain. No Sexton, for example. So, yeah, it'll be an interesting call. So, first kick of the day for Dan Bigger, right on the touchline. It's looking good. It goes through the middle, so they lead to 7 points. And the British and Irish Lions making their first decent spell of possession count, because they've been struggling to get their hands on the ball so far. I hope that Japan mustn't be too worried about that, because I think that they've actually probably been the better side for a lot of those first sort of 13 minutes. The first time the Lions have already had an opportunity in the half, so that's a very nice chase there from Japan, who looked like they almost might be turning the ball over off the kickoff. Eventually, a couple of Lions players come in. It's been charged down by Japan. It's going to drop. Dan Bigger back to clean up. Almost a charge down and a try from Japan. As I said, you can't rest on your laurels. It's a brilliant kick chase, and Conor Murray is now caught on the ball with his box kick. And the bounce of the rugby ball almost saw it dropping to Sakata. And if he had gotten that, all he had to do was dot down. So almost big mistake there from Lions. Dan Bigger cleaning up from his scrum off. You won't be too impressed with that. Groundswell saying Josh Adams a fantastic finisher. 100%. I think he's probably got the inside track on that starting spot. Murphy now off the line. It's a nice big carry by him. Gets up to the 22. Now they go to the big man, Inagagi. Turnover's good there. There's Lions turnover ball there. Dan Bigger Liam Williams going now to the left-hand side. Runs straight into a bit of traffic. Opted not to go to the boot. And they've won a penalty. It was Bundiaki, I think, who won the turnover. I'll tell you what, and for all that Japan are not a physical side, they don't have the smallest of people, you know. James Moore, Wimpy van der Walt, you know, might not be giants if they were to play for their home nations. But they're not small players. And Amanaki Mafi's a very good ball carrier. Michael Leach is a very good ball carrier. So there still is a little bit of power in this Japanese side. It was a very nice carry there from the number 8. Solid line-out win there from the Lions. And it's Jack Coden who runs down the middle. Quick ball going back down the left there to Bundy Aki. They get up to pass about the 10-meter line. Ken Owens now puts his head down, but it's well met. Dan Bigger now. It's a good run there from Tad Burn, but it was well read by the Japanese defense. Now Robbie Henshaw trying to create something from nothing. That's a big hit on him from Wimpy van der Walt and James Moore. So the Japanese defense showing up here. They've actually driven the Lions back about 5 meters. Players now back in the pocket, so Dan Bigger will lift it up, and this will be a big tester for tomorrow in Yatsushima. Matsushima, it's a brilliant take from him. Gets the ball away from to his inside center as well. He throws the ball inside. A good line there. Awesome, good handling here. And again, and they're giving it straight back to Robbie Henshaw. Well read by the Lions 13. Japan guilty of just throwing an extra pass. And now the Lions throwing the ball around. Josh Adams has not got the cleanest ball back, so he runs in field. And it's another big hit on him. Some very nice defensive work here from Japan. It's not a great pass to Dan Bigger. He throws the ball outside. That's forward, surely. No, it's not. So it's Duan van der Merwe. Duan van der Merwe cuts inside. Gets brought down just before the 22. Ken Owens goes himself. Dan Bigger now. Good ball out to Rory Sutherland. Bigger goes wide to Josh Adams. Josh Adams gets wrapped up on the 22. Now going on the blind side is Duan van der Merwe, and he's over. That's so poor. That's so frustrating after some brilliant defense. Duan van der Merwe on debut for the British and Irish Lions. Both wings now have a try. Goes down the blind side. No pillars from Japan. Far too easy. Picks up and goes himself. Nobody ahead of him. Nobody even touched him. Could have been touch rugby. He would have been able to go there. And Japan, it all comes down to when that Robbie Henshaw intercept. Japan with some very nice offloads. They're trying to keep the ball alive. Going one too many, giving the way. And then they go out to the wings here. A solid tackle there, but just nobody around the outside. Duan van der Merwe spots the space. There's no pillar on the outside. Takes it up and goes. And I mean, it's Juan Koo, the tight head, who's sitting by the ruck anyway. He's the one guilty not of creating pillar on the other side. So he's never going to catch him there. So, yeah, the Lions take a 12-point lead. And Japan, despite having all these good moments, just guilty of almost trying to overcomplicate things a little bit. Grant saying the Conor Murray always seems susceptible to a charge down. It takes a split second longer to box kick. He's got a very long action, very much sort of quite, robotic and, straight arm and out and kick. There's nothing quick about that. Dan Bigger nailed a very nice conversion in the first try. We'll have another one towards the touchline, probably be slightly easier, slightly further inside. Needs to get his sleeves made a little bit bigger, looking like they're choking the biceps there. Good old Biggs. The Macarena's done. The solid strike, and it's straight through the middle. 14 points to 0 after almost 20 minutes here at Murrayfield. I think Dan Bigger's going to start at flower half. I'd like to see Finn Russell. I think he's the exciting player. I think Dan Bigger is your sort of perfect flower half in terms of a combination of all the potential options that Warren Gatton has. Very safe kicker, good on defense. Nothing remarkable on the attack, but he's solid enough. Got a nice distribution on him. a very, very safe option. So I think that he'll probably be the starting fly half in the tour. As I said, I'm interested to see if Owen Farrell is going to be slotting at fly half or whether he'll be competing with the likes of Bundy Aki for that inside centre position. Much better win off the kickoff there. Conor Murray now with a bit more prediction. Doesn't get charged down this time. It's a test for the Japanese fly half, but it's a nice take from Yamanaka. Van goes out wide, and it's Moore who comes inside. Shrugs off the reverse defender. That's a decent tackle by Robbie Henshaw. Slow ball there from Japan. Oh, that's a nice line there, run from Wimpy van der Walt. Japan trying to get over the gain line. They're on the halfway line. Spreading out wide. Goes inside. It's a solid tackle by Dan Bigger. The Lions are making their tackles at the moment. Justin Francis, good afternoon. Welcome to the stream. A bit of a fumble there from Japan, but it's backwards and there's no support around him, so this is going to be a penalty. I mean, it's Labuskakin who pounced on the ball, and everybody kind of just sort of looked at him and the two Lions players, and Dan Bigger's taken that quickly. It's a nice touch finder by, actually. Who's going to win? Oh, well, for all Monday at the moment, it looks like it's one-way traffic. Japan have had some nice moments. Looked like they're full of flair, like they always do, but it's not really effective at the moment, and the Lions have made their opportunities count. Dan Bigger seems to be playing with a lot of confidence. We've got I think it's Jewin Kuhn down for Japan, the tight head, Korean born. So we look at some of the stats. Let's wait for this to update. Okay, so at the moment the possession is very, very even. We've got another injury here for the Lions. Tell you, the Lions, I mean, this is Justin Tipuric who's now going off, also seems to be clutching it. I'm not sure what his issue is. But that's two players off from the Lions. They've fallen like flies. You've had Alun Wyn Jones who's already left the field. Justin Tipuric, who was an injury replacement for Hamish Watson himself, is now off. So both Courtney Laws and Falatau are both on the bench. So this is not good. I mean, it's all very nice having these warm games, but I mean, we've already lost two major players in this Lions squad, Alun Wyn Jones, now Justin Tipuric to injury. Dan Bigger was also down for a little bit. Seems to be fine now. Kirsten Vermeulen says, Dear Fair Rugby, I'm impressed by your commentating skills. Thank you. Definitely not something which I'm well known for, but it's fun to try and do every now and again. Solid win there. Dan Bigger trying to sort of dive through, but they had an advantage from the Moors, so they'll go back for the penalty. But yeah, I mean, I think the one thing that Warren Gatland probably would have wanted the most out of today was no injuries. You know, it's even when you're playing the Lions, Storms, all those sort of midweek games and stuff like that, you obviously want the victory. You want to play some nice rugby, but the important thing is you can't afford to have injuries, because by the time you get to that Springbok test, you have to have a clean bill of health, and the Springboks have got to get through 2 games against Georgia, and then they're the next test literally against the Lions. But the Lions have to negotiate about 4 or 5 matches. It's 5 matches before the Lions, before they play the Springboks in that first test. Another win there from Ian Henderson. They're right in the 5 meter. Japan's a good early shove from them. Now starting to split off on the right hand side. Conor Murray is quite keen to use it though. It's available for Murray. Very nice small defense here from Japan. Murray uses it. Robbie Henshaw, and he goes over. Too much power. 1-on-1, he gets his opposite number, and they're not going to stop him from that distance. And that's the problem with Japan, you know. It's a problem, I suppose. I mean, they've been very valiant on attack, but I mean, on the defense, but most of the big hits from Japan have come from sort of 2-on-1 tackle scenarios, and 1-on-1 tackling, you know, from that sort of distance. Robbie Henshaw up against his opposite number, Lafayette, it's only going to go one way, and Robbie Henshaw goes down. He's running with a bit of pace, and Lafayette just can't put a hit on him. What can I watch it on? It's being showed on, if you're in South Africa, it's on Supersport Grandstand. So if you have DSTV now, for example, if you're over in the UK, it's being shown for free on Channel 4. If you can use a VPN like ExpressVPN to go and access that if you want. Ground Swats typically could also be a big loss. Yeah, a massive loss. I mean, I think Tipuric is one of the best players in the world. I'm a huge Justin Tipuric fan, so to lose him would be a massive loss. Meanwhile, Dan Bigger has kicked the third one. So if you don't have DSTV now, you'll see in the link right up at the top there, you can go and use ExpressVPN. It is a paid VPN, but if you then use that, you can go on to Channel 4 over in the UK. You can get access to that. You can just change your location using a VPN so that you're in the UK, and you can then watch it for free. So that's a bit of a workaround for some people if you don't have DSTV. Unfortunately, there's pretty much no way to watch it for free in South Africa. It'll be the same for the Lion series. I will be doing a video on how you can watch the Lion series. Unfortunately, no free streams or anything like that unless you want to try and find a dodgy illegal one. But I'm definitely not going to endorse that. But yeah, Japan with the reset here, so I didn't get my clock back underway. 25 minutes into the game, and it's been pretty one-way traffic. Japan have had their moments, as you kind of expect they would. But it's very easy for the Lions when they get into the 22. You know, it's the tackling has been alright, but you know you got to be able to make the big hits. You got to be able to take somebody on one-on-one, and that's what Japan haven't been able to do. As Juan said, it was far too easy. Japan have taken this quickly. They delayed it and eventually took it quickly, and they won a penalty as well. So they have a chance to try and kick their way into Lions territory. In Japan, you know, for a side that loves speeding it up and stuff like that, probably do need to slow it down a little bit and just sort of compose themselves. Tamura now kick the ball downfield, try and find a decent touch finder. Also, we're like literally 2 people away from 1,800 subscribers. So if you are watching and you haven't subscribed, just right now, just go and hit that subscribe button. Let's get up to 1,800 before halftime. That'd be really cool. A very nice touch finder by Tamura that Japan will have a line well inside the 22. So a nice opportunity now for the Japanese to try and hit back. Watch out for Michael Leach in the line-out. He's often the go-to there. You've also got James Moore. Atsushi Sakata is the Japanese that go towards the back towards Moore. It's not a great line-out win. I think it's been won back thanks to Lapis Lapiskakti, but it was not in straight, so we start with a scrum. Not a great lineup from Japan. I think that's the frustrating part, is when you get the chance and you get up to the 22 and you've got an opportunity to try and make it count. You know, to throw a ball over the top is a waste. It's such a waste. So we start with a scrum. I think it's only about the second scrum of the game. 2 scrums of the game so far. This will be the 3rd scrum. It's been fairly solid, the scrums, actually. I've been surprised. I've been impressed by how well Japan have actually managed to keep it fairly contestable. I'll tell you what, I mean, in the early stages when Japan have more of the ball, there's definitely space out wide for Japan to try and exploit. You know, I think the Lions have been quite guilty at leaving quite a bit of space out wide. That's gone straight down there from Japan, so it'll be a penalty to the Lions. The first sort of very dominant scrum they've had. Penalties against Jiwon Kuso. It's Robbie Sutherland, the man that had his number there. And Dan Bigger, who's looked very, very confident today, I must say. He looks like he's really enjoying life at the moment. Will kick towards the touch. It looks like a very good touch find. Yeah, he's found touch well in the Japanese half. They'll have a line on the 10-meter line. So another very nice opportunity here from the Lions. About 12 minutes to go till the first half is done. And they could very well walk into it with 4 tries if they can get something right in the next couple of minutes. Time off. We have to have a chat about the lineouts here. Time's back on now after a little word. Corey Laws goes up, his first sort of involvement of the game. It's a clean win from him. They used it though. Conor Murray. Inside ball. I think it was Liam Williams. I'm sorry, Josh Adams there made the call. Then Jack Curran off the base of the ruck there. And it's been knocked forward. I think it's Faletau there who knocks it forward in his first carry. So it's been a characteristic from the Welsh number 8. So we start with another scrum here, this time for Japan. Almost entering the last 10 minutes of the first half. It's been pretty much one-way traffic. Japan started off very well, but the more the game has gone, the more the British and Irish Lions have managed to really sort of start flexing their muscles, and they're always going to be physically, always going to physically outmuscle Japan. So that's pretty much what they've done. But I think that it's been a case of Japan's just some silly mistakes on defense. I mean, the first try was a decent finish from Josh Adams. Second try was just no pillars, and the third try was one-on-one tackling. That's a very nice run there. I think it's Fafita, a quick ball. Michael Leach. That's not a great ball from him. It's well picked up, though. Delayed pass out to Yamanaka outside. He cuts inside. Needs to be able to stay in. He does. So the Japan have managed to run their way into the Lions' territory. The solid carry up to the halfway line by the tight head. We go back towards the left. Not a lot of space to work with. Lelafere manages to keep and stay inside. Right, tomorrow. That's a nice, good flat pass to Sakate. Picking behind Nakamura, and Dan Bigger falls as he picks it up. So contested on the ground, but the support does coming from the Lions. They managed to keep it. Conor Murray now will give the ball to Ian Henderson. Try and create a bit of an angle. Probably look to try and kick deep downfield. Now looks like a pick up and drive that'll be on Courtney Laws. No, Conor Murray's decided it's time for him to bring up the boot. So he does. He goes ahead. Should be contestable. Dion van der Merwe, that's there. It's been knocked forward by Japan. And Liam Williams now decides to go back down the blind side. Jack Coden now gets the ball away. Ken Owens is down the flight. He's got Dion van der Merwe around him. I think there was a forward pass in there, so we'll go back for that. Go back and play the first knock on. Very nice, very contestable kick there early on, and I think it was Yamanaka who was under the pressure there from Dion van der Merwe. I think it's actually a Lions knock-on, so I think we'll restart with a Japanese scrum. No, it will be a Lions scrum from the first knock-on after the up and under. I think time's off. No, time's still on, so we're just busy wasting time. I don't know what the issue is here. Let's get it going, people. Let's get it going. Francois, Japan is winning on the injury scoreboard. True, yeah, and I think, to be honest, I think that's probably more important than the result today is all the Lions players getting through uninjured. You know, if they've lost Alun Wyn Jones and Justin Tipperick, and that's why, you know, somebody made a very good point when we were first talking about the announcement, and somebody was saying that, you know, the player of the series could very well not even be in the squad yet. You know, injuries come into it. There's a penalty for the Lions on the scrum. You know, injuries come onto it, and it's amazing how players who are called up late often go on to have really, really good tours. So, you know, watch somebody like Carl Sinclair, the fact that he got left out, and after that started playing some really, really good rugby. We called back into the squad. He's on the bench today. And he's going to have a huge point to prove. So, you know, somebody like that, you know, the motivation when you get dropped or you get left out or you didn't get called in, lots of those players often go on to have some really, really good tours. Those are players with nothing to lose. You know, they really experienced what it was like not to be picked. They've now been given a second chance. So, yeah, so the Lions are going up to the 22-meter now here. They'll have a line out on the left-hand side. Ken Owens, the man who will be putting it in. And it's Courtney Laws who goes up. The nice start to the more here from the Lions. It looks very well constructed. Eventually gets slowed down. Ken Owens uses it. Bigger gives the inside ball to Bundy Aki. It's well read. Tell you what, they've used Fafita quite often in the sort of centre channels on the defence. Conor Murray goes an inside ball to him for the Merva. Conor Murray, they're spaced out wide, they're spaced out wide, they're spaced out wide. It does get it out wide. It's Jack Coden there who cuts inside. He's eventually brought down. That's a very nice tackle from James Moore on Faletau. Burn now. Inside ball, it's not great. Lions do have an advantage. Juvan van der Merwe, can he get the ball away? He can't, so we'll go back for the penalty. Decent defense from Japan. Call is against Amanaka Mafi for being offside. NDVC damage touch doesn't look like it's going to be a close game anymore. Yeah, I think it's all becoming one-sided. I don't think it's going to change much in the second half. Depth is always going to be a little bit of a problem with Japan. You know, they're not going to have a lot of players who can come off the bench to make a huge amount of difference. Matsuda's a good player, number 23 jersey. Yeah, if that pass it gone to hand from Juvan van der Merwe, then he definitely would have gone all the way. Couldn't quite find Liam Williams, but they've kicked towards touch. They'll have a line on the 5 meter, and I mean, with the more that's been getting better and better. Nope, it's been well defended by Japan. Will the ball become available? Yeah, it's available for Conor Murray. Juvan van der Merwe, first receiver, just driven back by Leifala. And it's a penalty to Japan. Well defended. It's James Moore, the man who... No, sorry, it's Lapis Skakni, the South African who got over Juvan van der Merwe. So South African on South African. Very, very nice turnover there. And Japan just not quite running over. They never will. You know, they're a side that will attack you to the right, the end. They will, you know, they'll play a full 80 minutes. They're a very fit side, so... You know, they'll be there all game. I think the biggest thing we need to find out, the biggest mission for today is we need to find out how we can get a hold of one of these Japanese shirts. It's a quite nice touch finder from Japan, so... Actually, I lied. I thought that was much further down, but it's been lost by Japan, so the Lions have won the ball back. Ken Owens now puts his head down. Conor Murray now pretty much on the halfway line. Kicks ahead, and it's Matsushima. You can call a mark. Yeah, I mean, does. Just drifting a bit too far from Conor Murray. Would have wanted to try and land that just before the 22. Matsushima now kicks it downfield. Actually, a very nice touch finder from him. So, Conor Murray won't take it quickly. It's a nice chase from Matsushima. So, we'll restart with a Lions line, just about 5 meters on from the 22 meter. Also, ground spots I managed to find a jersey, where to get the Japanese jersey. But it's £58. £58! Let me got £58 for me. I really want one of these jerseys. Goodness me. Right, going to the back, Tad Burn. It's a solid win there from Ken Owens, looking to set up another more other lines. 4 minutes to go for half time. For Japan, they cannot afford to score. Wimpy van der Walt, what are you doing? Just decided to jump over the top of the ruck and put some hands over there. Conor Murray asking for a pod there, so it's Jack Coden who carries it up. Conor Murray setting for another box kick. Right, Matsushima goes up. Juvan van der Merwe was up to compete, but he misses out, and I think that's gone off his hands. So I think it will be a Japanese put in. Matsushima was tearing after, but completely got it wrong. And Juvan van der Merwe, by the end of it, was pretty much uncontested, but doesn't manage to hold on. So it runs out for, I think, what is a Japanese put in to the line out. Yeah, Van der Merwe just gets it. As I said, it was pretty much uncontested by the time he actually got there, so he probably should have done better should the Lions fly. The one with the knock-on, so Japan are going to take the scrum here. Just inside Lions territory on the far right-hand side of the field, about 5 meters in from the right. I put that in right underneath the hooker's face, and it's available. So Matsushima, there at first receiver, sees a bit of space. He's gone through. He's still going as Matsushima. Oh, come on, ref. Ref! Surely it's playing the scrum off. The scrum, it's a knock on here. I think it's Conor Murray who's forced it. As the scrum have taken it out, I'm not quite sure Murray's in an onside position to be able to play it. It's a fantastic run by Matsushima. He spotted some space inside. Inside it goes, leaves Conor Murray dead. Nice tackle by Alun Wyn Jones. Yeah, I'm not convinced Conor Murray was completely enabled to was allowed to play that. I think rightfully I think the Japanese are going to feel a little bit hard done by. Grass holds 58 pounds. It's ridiculous. I agree. We need to start a GoFundMe, a back a buddy account, just so we can get our hands on these jerseys. They were actually having a look on the TMO, and he said he's played the arm, not the ball. So they're saying, I'm not convinced he was in an onside position. We're going to restart with a scrum from the looks of it. So it will be a scrum for Japan, which is not a bad result because, I mean, it was off the scrum that this came. Looking for the quick ball was Japan. I think if they had gotten that away, it would be quite interesting because they had a lot of people there. And I reckon they could have had an overlap down the left-hand side. It was a very nice run from Matsushima. So we'll restart just on the 22-meter from the lines. It will be a Japan put in at the scrum. And a very nice platform to work with last time, so they'll be hoping for something similar. It's a really reset. We must almost have like a reset counter. You know, you have a bit of a clock and we can go up every single time there's a reset. Grant Swell saying that should be a penalty to Japan. I kind of felt, I was leaning towards that as well. I just felt that he wasn't in an onside position and shouldn't have been able to play the scrum off there. Solid platform. The ball's both done. They've gone down the blind side. Have Japan. It's Fafita who gets wrapped up. The tackle, so they have to release. So it's Alun Wyn Jones almost coming from the side there. Slow ball there on Wimpy van der Walt, who rides the contact. Now James Moore. He gives it to Lapis Abaskakni, who gets driven back. It's still going down the left. It's the 8th man. Murphy steps inside. Yeah, it's an advantage. Wimpy van der Walt once again. He gets over the gain line. Now Japan going out wide. Trying to go for the grabber in between, which has been fielded, so they'll go back for the advantage. So, penalty to Japan. They can't go for poles. There's no point. They're 21-0 down, so they're going to have to probably go to the corner, maybe call another scrum. There's no clear release. I think it was Jack Conan, the man who's been penalised there. The siren has gone, so we are actually into added time here after the first half. I mean, the comment is saying, oh, Japan going to points. Why would Japan go to points? They're 21 points down. I mean, come on. You can't be sitting there saying, oh, they're going to go for points. Of course they're not going to go for points. Don't be stupid. Go for points. Imagine going for a 3-pointer when you're 21 points down. I mean, come now. Let's not be silly here. You need 7 penalties just to blooming draw level. So Japan have gone to the corner, obviously. So they can score here. You know, just give them something, a bit of momentum. It's a nice time to score right at half time. They're going to go towards the back. It's gone straight over the top. It's a very nice run onto as Fafita, who's gone up to just a few meters. Not a great throw, but it's well controlled. They've got the numbers. Matsushima inside. He's wrapped up by Alun Wyn Jones. No, they can't play that. Referee, surely. They're slowing it down. Japan up to 5 meters away. Yo, that's hands in, ref. Can we see a card? Give him a card. Penalty for the Japan again. It's hands in. But 2 rucks, actually. 2 consecutive rucks there. And that's slowing the ball down. That's cynical. They can't be far away from a yellow card from the lines. That's now 3 penalties for hands in the ruck. And you can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to slow it down because Japan thrive off quick ball off the scrum off. But Tamura is going to try and kick this into touch. They have another go at the line from left to right. No, they're taking it quickly. It's Murphy. It's a bit of a rehearsed move there. Doesn't really work out. Now they're going down the side with the fullback there. Abaskakni now carrying it up. It's a big hit on him. Mafi once again. Leach goes outside, goes to Lefelo, who's being held up. He's being held up. Now eventually goes down. There was no more calls, so they have to release. When did he call for more? Yeah, well, it's half time. I don't know if I missed the call for more there. I think Japan probably should have had been attacking 40 men there. I think the Lions need to be careful because a couple of hands at the ruck there, quite cynical at times. But the Lions will take a 21-point lead into the break. They've looked the better side. Japan have had moments. They started off the first half really well, finished off the first half very well, but they've got nothing for it. They just can't compete physically at the moment. So lots to work on, lots to talk about it halfway. We'll take a very quick break and then we'll come back and do a bit of a stat attack, see where we are within the stats and stuff like that. But that is the halftime score. If you're watching, you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. As I said, we are literally 2 people away from 1,800 subscribers, so I'd really, really appreciate that. I'll be back with you guys in just a few minutes. Right, we are back. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Halftime score in Scotland, 21 points to nil. British and Irish Lions leading Japan. A very nice first half from the home side, which is quite weird for the British and Irish Lions to be the home side. They pretty much never are. They are today. And I think it's been a case of Japan not taking their opportunities because they've had the chances. They've had the chance to score. But, sometimes just butchering it, sometimes holding on to it. But it's been their defense that's let them down because it's been the tries that the British and Irish Lions scored. I think Josh Adams was a fairly good finish. But I think Dylan van der Merwe was just poor defense, was just no pillar. There was good awareness from him, but, really poor defense. And, the third try was just, Robbie Henshaw running over his opposite number. And, when somebody's hitting the line like that, you've got to just front up, drop a shoulder. You've got to try and stop him there. It can't be that easy to just stroll over. In terms of the stats from the first half, possession 56% for the British and Irish Lions, 44% for Japan. Overall 54% territory, 46% for Japan. 3 tries to nil, 149 meters run by British and Irish Lions. Interestingly enough, 156 meters run by Japan. So Japan have been full of running today. 3 clean breaks from the Lions, 1 from Japan, but Japan have beaten 2 more defenders. 46 gain line carries compared to 44. Japan obviously a lot more passes, more offloads, but 8 turnovers won by the British and Irish Lions. And that's kind of the problem for Japan, is that they need to be more competitive with the breakdown, because that's an area that the Lions are targeting. Just trying to sort of slow the breakdown down, make sure there's no quick ball available for Japan, and it really is working. When Japan doesn't have quick ball, they struggle. They're always going to struggle. They're a side that flourishes on nice quick delivery. So that's an area that they're going to need to work on. But if you look at the defense, in terms of tackles made, it's 91% by the British Irish Lions, making 72 of 79 tackles, and Japan have made 74 of 79 tackles. So that's been very good. But, the tackles that Japan have missed have been very important, And Dylan van der Merwe scored a try without even an attempt to tackle on them. And that was just because they didn't set up a pillar on the left-hand side. He literally went straight down the blind side. No issues there. It was a missed tackle for Josh Adams, it was a missed tackle for Robbie. Well, it was a tackle, I suppose, but it wasn't a dominant tackle. So he kind of just rode the hit over the line. The ruck success rate's been 96% for the Lions, 93% for Japan. Lions have not been great for Japan. They've lost 2 of them. British and Irish Lions haven't lost any. The British and Irish Lions have lost 1 scrum. Japan have not lost a scrum. Japan conceding 9 penalties compared to the Lions 5. So that's also an area they want to try and sort out. A bit of the discipline, try and make sure that they're competitive everywhere there. For Japan, Matsushima, as you can imagine, has been full of running. He's run 54 meters, beating 3 defenders, 2 offloads, 1 clean break, 2 turnovers, 1 as well. For the British Irish Lions, Bundy Aki's been quite involved. He's made a couple of carries, made 18 meters. I think somebody like Jack Conan's had a couple of opportunities. He's made 9 carries, making 50 meters, beating 1 defender, 1 offload. Who else has been quite impressive? I'm trying to think. Tadek Burns been a little bit quiet today. Only made 1 tackle, made the 5 carries. Dylan van der Merwe has carried pretty strongly. He's beaten 2 defenders that had 2 clean breaks across 61 meters and 1 offload in his couple of carries. In terms of off the bench, I think that's probably the biggest thing that the British and Irish Lions will be worried about, that they've lost 2 big players, Justin Tipuric and Alun Wyn Jones, having to be substituted in that first half. So you've got Courtney Laws and Talapa Falatau on already. So 2 of the 7 players on the bench already on. You expect to see the likes of Anthony Watson, Owen Farrell, Ellie Price, Carl Sinclair, Wyn Jones, and Jamie George all in the second half. For the Japan haven't had to make any substitutions so far, so they've got a full contingent to come off the bench. But it's been pretty much what we've expected. We've seen some very nice moments from Japan and some promising moments and some decent build-up play. But, they're being bullied. The tackling is, even when they make the tackles, they can't really make dominant tackles. They're struggling to sort of cope with the physicality of the Lions. They're struggling to make meters on when they do carry. They're struggling to get over that gain line, which you kind of come to expect. It's a side like Japan. There's a couple of players, the likes of Labuskakni, Murphy, and Michael Leach, who can probably get over the advantage line, but the bulk of them are really going to struggle to try. Man for man. Get over the gain line against the Lions. And a couple of nice tackles, but often those sort of 2-in-1 situations with 2 Japanese players wrapping up 1 British and Irish Lions player. So it's always the issue, and they really and they try to speed up. They try to rush teams. They're trying to put teams under a lot of pressure by playing a very high tempo standard of rugby, and they haven't really been able to do that because first of all, the Lions have been very good at slowing the ball at the breakdown. Every single time the Japanese get some momentum often a knock on comes in, or a or a turnover at the rack itself. But Japan is taking the field. They're playing in blue today. It's a very, very nice journey. We've discovered it's £58 though, so unfortunately not going to be getting one of those anytime soon. They'll be playing left to right at this time. Kickoff in the second half should be in just a few, probably in a minute or two. The referee's back on. The British and Irish Lions are coming on as well. So for Japan, okay, I mean, if they want to get anything out of this game, they've got to score first. I mean, it's a case of converting the opportunities. They had a couple of penalties late in that half, but they couldn't convert it. They really couldn't. They couldn't set up a rolling maul. They couldn't really use the scrum to great effect. But the scrums haven't been bad actually. But to give Japan their credit, I think they've held up pretty well for most of them. A couple of dominant scrums to the British and Irish Lions, but I think we probably would have expected more dominance probably. Grant Swass's Dan Big has been very good. I mean, he looks like a different level at the moment, doesn't he? He just looks so composed, so settled in his game. He's at the peak of his powers with Dan Bigger. I think that he's someone who I think people kind of thought that he had a bit of a threshold, and he kind of continued to sort of break down the threshold. And 31 years old, he's turning 32 towards the end of the year. He just looks like he's in his prime, playing very nice rugby, very confident. He's managing the game very well. He's kicked very well for Paul so far. And I think that if they were sort of using this as a measure to see if he's going to be ready to start the first test against the Springboks, well, so far I think he's passing with flying colours. Right, so checking on the captains, we have a timer on now. The whistle goes, and Dan Bigger gets us underway for the second half. He goes nice and deep and very high, so it's very contestable. A fantastic take. I think it's James Moore underneath that. That's a brilliant take from him. Michael Leach with an early touch. Japan looking to run up from that zone 22. It's not a great pass behind the man, so they dab in behind. And it's a good tackle on, I think it's Liam Williams who came in and cleaned up. They've got an advantage. They don't have an advantage. So Ian Henderson, Conor Murray wrapping behind. They've rushed up the defense. It's a brilliant rush defense. Matsushima's now got his... I think there was an advantage. I thought there was an advantage for the Lions. He was straight through there. Some very nice rush defense from Japan, but they'll go back for the early advantage. I think it was a high tackle was the call. Pity, because if it wasn't for that, man, that was going to be Matsushima away and Japan on the board. So, thought they were away for the first try, but in fact, going back for penalties. So Dan Bigger will kick towards the corner, and unfortunately, it looks like the British and Irish Lions could very well strike first here, because I think that they've been quite good off the line. Japan have been valiant in defense. They've defended them all pretty well. A couple of the players really are pitching up today, but they do have holes, and when it comes to sort of one-on-one tackling, that is the issue. So Courtney Law goes up. He's been the main sort of jumper, really. Him and Henderson since Alun Wyn Jones went off. Again, it's a solid maul defense from the Japan. British and Irish Lions finally starting to get a few meters, but Conor Murray will have to use it. There he goes to Bundy Aki. He's been used as the crash ball. Doesn't make too many meters, so it's nice defense. They're going back towards the right-hand side there. Falatau now, but a little bit stationary. Courtney Laws now. Solid tackle on him between Moore and Navaskakni. Nice flat pass there for Tarek Furlong, who eyes the contact. Right, Robbie Henshaw, well read by Japan. Quick ball for Conor Murray. It's Liam Williams, cuts inside one, and he loses the ball in contact, so it's a turnover ball to Japan. Michael Leach now, right down the left-hand side there, taking a big contact there. He's quite isolated, and I think it looks like British and Irish Lions have turned it over, so they're going to go back for the original knock-on. And now Liam Williams is down. I tell you what, it's not looking good for the Lions in the injury front. A couple of players have been down today. Is that an American football field being Murrayfield? I think they have actually had NFL games there. They've got obviously a big in-goal area, so I stand to be corrected, but I think they have had American football games at the field. It is usually a rugby field. But, yeah, I think they have used it for American football in the past. Liam Williams is up. Took a bit of a knock to the head. Hamish Watson currently recovering from some concussion, which is why he's not playing today. He wasn't named in the starting lineup. He was replaced by Tipperick, and his replacement has been replaced by Courtney Laws. Tipperick getting an injury. Wasn't quite sure what the injury was in the first half. Wyn Jones went off with what looks like a wrist injury. Doesn't look good for him at all. We'll get confirmation the next day or two whether he'll actually board the plane. Because the problem is with the tour being so kind of on top of each other is that, you know, if you're out for 2 weeks, if he's out for 2 weeks, for example, you will miss the Lions game, the Sharks game, and probably the Bulls game. You know, you can miss 3 matches on tour just by being out for 2 weeks. So there's not a lot of time. There's no time to recover from injury on this sort of tour. You really don't have time. Time back on. We're going to restart with a scrum. It's inside the 22. We're going to have a reset just for another blooming change. I'm not happy about this. Liam Williams with 2 pretty much tampons shoved up his nose. Another reset scrum here. Looks like a solo hit from Japan. Matsushima at first receiver. Goes to Tomorrow. Running through the hands here are Japan. And Fafita gets over the 22. Once again, slow ball for Japan. And they've won a penalty, have Lions. It's Bundy Aki who's forced the penalty for holding on. A bit weird because they didn't really call it until he was sort of lying on the ground, still holding on to it. So quite a late call for something which happened earlier. We'll have to see it again. Yeah, Bundy Aki straight over the ball, tries as a go for it. It's quite a quick call, I'll say. I mean, look, he is holding on, I think, but it was blown very quickly. You'll often give it like a 1, 2, 3 sort of second race there to see if anybody can clean out. But the British Isles Lions are kicked to the corner. Ken Owens is going to try and find Tad Byrne, and they do. I think there's a penalty advantage here. It looked like he was taken out in the air. It's available for Conor Murray to use. Cross kick from Bigger. Oh, sorry, it's more of a chip from William Williams. And Jack Coden goes over. I think that's just bizarre. I think it was a knock on first. We'll go back for the scrum. I mean, the Japan just kind of seemed to stop playing. So we'll go back for the early penalty. I thought it was sort of taking him out in the air from the line out. So we'll go back for the first penalty. I've no doubt the Lions will once again sort of knock us into touch. Set up another line. Yeah, Dan Bigger puts it into the corner. They're going to have another go for it on the line. It's been quite a good maul defense from Japan to give them their credit, you know. It's when you consider the size differences and the physicality, they have defended the maul pretty well. Grant Swallows, the Safa Japanese players trying to help at the box here, trying to take as many lines as possible. I mean, it's 2 down already. Ref's having a chat here. I have no idea about what. Come on. I mean, this is what bugs me about officiating. So after they've literally saved the line, they've gone to the corner. They now reckon, and we see it is a knock-on. So they're now thinking that maybe it was a try, so should we check the clear knock-on? So now they're going back, and what it was a clear knock-on, he definitely touches his fingers and goes forward. We've now lost a good 90 seconds going to do that. That's just poor officiating. Now, come on. Don't. You see, that's just using technology for the sake of using it. You've made the call. They've literally already kicked into touch. Ken Owens has really put the ball into the line out, and now we must go back and have a look. I mean, really. Another more here from the Lions. Once again, solid defense here from the Japanese. It's broken off, but they're coming a little bit short. It's available for Conor Murray. And Furlong. Going back down the blind side here. It's Courtney Laws. It's Courtney Laws, and he's over. That's where we talk about the power there. He was running with pace. It was a big collision. He rode the collision and then managed to ground it. It's far too easy for the Lions. I mean, it's bullying at the end of the day. They know they've got the physicality. They're imposing themselves on Japan, and it's we're 6 minutes in, and a try number 4 for The Lions. Oh, he actually locks it on. So, actually, having said that, after all that, it looks like he actually might have knocked this on the ground. The big tackle from Wim van der Walt can't really drive him back, and it looks like he almost loses the ball as he's actually going over. So I think we can have a look at this. We could actually have the try ruled out here. It's in his left hand, he's got the opportunity to place, but he loses control of it, and I think it does go forward before he eventually gets it down. Yeah, that's a knock-on. He loses control. He doesn't have control of it, loses control. Eventually does dive it down, but he loses control. He goes forward a couple of centimeters, but that's all it needs to go. Yeah, the try has been ruled out. They've said it's forward. It's been knocked forward, so removed it from the scoreboard. Japan lived to fight another day. Courtney Laws thought he had a try off the bench. Only scored one try from England. We'll restart with a scrum here to Japan, but Japan kind of just sort of pegged back right in the 22, so lots of work to be done. The officiating's been poor this game. Yeah, it has. I haven't been particularly impressed, and I think that's something I said at the beginning. I said what we need in this tour is good officials and good officiating, and it's not been good. I think that Japan have been denied 2-3 penalties. I think that they could have been potentially yellow card to the British and Irish Lions in the first half. You know, they've checked when they shouldn't have checked, and sometimes they haven't checked when they maybe should have checked. But anyway, we'll restart with the scrum here. It's around the 5 meter for Japan, so very much a defensive scrum for them. And they need to get themselves out of the 22 here. They've been in here for the entire sort of second half. It's come straight out the back. Japan looking to now run it from the 22. Now eventually they do go to the boot. They won't find touch though. Liam Williams reads it well, cuts inside, he gets tackled by Tamura. Conor Murray eventually arriving, he goes to Ian Henderson. Dan Bigger now goes to Ken Owens. Dan Bigger now, it's Tanner Byrne down on the right hand side, sitting on the wing, makes a few meters. Furlong, Bigger, it's good rush defense from Japan, and Robbie Henshaw's wrapped up. The port eventually does come, now the pass out wide to Jack Conan. He's brought down by Tamura. Ken Owens now. Josh Adams almost thought of a half gap and straight to Lapis Lapiskakli. If he was away, he was through, he might have been away there. We're still with another solid one. I mean, look, the Lions, Japan's defense is fronting up, but the Lions making him a half meter every time. So getting some good going forward ball here are the Lions. He goes to Duvan van der Merwe, he's coming inside for some work. Outside ball to Jack Conan, puts his head down, runs straight to Matsushima. Now back to Courtney Laws inside. Bigger, it's a very, very good run by Tad Byrne. He's down the middle. Tad Byrne's got the pace, the power. He goes through. Well, the defense parted like Moses in the ocean. To Tad Byrne, he's had quite a quiet game today. Has stormed over for another try. On debut, Tad Byrne on the score sheet. Brilliant run from him. And as soon as he hit that gap, nobody was stopping him. He had the pace. Yeah, that's a fantastic. I mean, yeah, after a bit of it, I mean, Dan Bigger, it's a very, very well run line. I think it's Lafayette who sort of breaks the line a little bit, which creates that half gap. There's nobody home behind for Japan. It's a very, very easy running from Dan Byrne. It's a nice cut-out pass by Dan Bigger, very well played. He's been fantastic all game. He'll have no issues knocking that the conversion over. It's right in front, so he adds the extra 2, takes his personal tally up to 8 for the day. Try assist for Dan Bigger. He's probably been the most impressive player on the field, I think. I've been very impressed with how he's handled the game. And you can see he got out around the outside of Murphy, and there was just nobody going to catch him. Straight through the middle, the arm comes up. He's celebrating as he goes over. On debut. And a 5-pointer to his name. And I think it's going to start getting to the stage where it's going to become a little bit about damage control for Japan. You know, they're not really in this game anymore, and that's hopefully they've still got a couple of good moments left in them, because I think that they've had some nice moments and they've looked good at stages, but they haven't been able to sort of match the physicality. It's been a very one-sided game from that sort of respect. Time is off. I'm not quite sure what the issue is here. Some commentator is yelling into the mic about something. Right, tomorrow eventually gets us underway. So the take, I think it's Jack Conan under the ball there. Murray goes to the boot immediately, puts in the box kick. Test debut now for the reserve scrum. Oh. There we go. First touch there for debut. Number 22 for Japan. Naito Saito on debut. They spilled it forward. It's not getting a little bit horrible from Japan. Jack Conan eventually taking into touch. Valtau's limping off after a collision there, so that doesn't look good for him either. Now Tad Burn down the wing. Throws the ball inside. And it's been cleaned up. And he's away. The Japanese fullback, and it's now a foot race. He's kicked ahead. Liam Williams coming across. And he jots down. Brilliant play there from from Rohia Yamanaka. It was all a bit messy. Put the kick through from the British Irish Lions. It bounced into his hand. And eventually gets away from a couple of players. Puts the grubber in behind. Doesn't quite have the pace. Liam Williams, very aware, comes across. Yeah, it's the ball in for Tad Burn, which is then kicked ahead by Conor Murray. And Yamanaka's away. Puts onto his left foot. It's a foot race between him and Dan Biggar. Dan Biggar was winning the race anyway, but Liam Williams not taking any chances. Comes across, covers very well. Grant Sawyer says the Lions wingers are coming off their wings, often leave loose forwards out wide, something the box needs to look out for. Yeah, I think that's something that people were saying was quite likely to happen. Yeah, we go for some subs for the British Irish Lions. Carl Sinclair's on, Dan Biggar's off for Owen Farrell. So we're going to see Owen Farrell on the fly half channel today. Not sure if that's a precursor to what we might see in South Africa. I'll take it all back. I thought it was... So we got Rory Sutherland off and Wyn Jones, but I think that looks like Dan Biggar still on the field. I don't think there was. I don't think Farrell's on the field. So we've got two new props on for the Lions. Going out wide are Japan. Number 20 just come on. It's Kazuki Himino. But Joe, I think that they were saying that if you look at the type of loose forwards that have been picked by Warren Gatland, you know, very mobile, players that like to sort of sit in the channels and stuff like that. So I think we will see that in Springboks. I think that we're going to see a lot of the loose forwards sitting out in the wing channels and trying to sort of take on the likes of Mapimpi and Colby and try and create some space out wide whilst the Lions turn over. And I think that's Tad Burn who's booted that ahead. And Duran Fanamu was tearing off there. It looks like he's been taken out. So Japan have been forced all the way back to their own try line. Matsushima will now kick ahead and try and get them out of trouble. Liam Williams now. He trips just before he goes into contact. We're going to have a look after this phase when in the next break of play where the Van der Merwe was taken out. Looked like he was almost taken out. Dan Biggar now hoisting it. Robbie Henshaw's chasing. Henshaw wings it back. It's Carl Sinclair. Big pass out wide to Dan Biggar. He spots a little bit of space outside. It bounces favorably though. Fafito now puts it to the boot and that'll bounce and that'll run out. That's actually a nice little touch finder. They'll find touch inside the Lions territory. We're going to have a look now. It looks like Devin van der Merwe was taken out off the ball. There's a kick ahead from Tad Burn. And Devin van der Merwe was tearing after this and he runs into number 21, which is Tavita Tatafuit. I don't think he's been taken out. He doesn't seem to change his line. Doesn't like look over and see that Devin van der Merwe is coming and then change his line. For another replacement here for Japan, number 17 is on. That's Craig Miller. Solid win there from Ian Henderson. And Jack Conan with another carry. He's been full of carries today. Tad Byrne now being driven back. That's a huge tackle on him from the replacement, number 21. That's Tatufo, who's just come on. Carl Sinclair with his first carry, making a few meters, getting the lines into the Japanese half. Bigger just delaying the pass, almost creating a gap out wide there. Henderson wanted to try and find the players out wide, but it was wrapped up well. Courtney Laws spins away from one. Carl Sinclair inside ball, well read. It's a big hit on Jack Conan. Lamberg going himself, a little bit isolated, but the ball is available, but they're still starting to get past the gain line, so Connery does kick it ahead, and it's straight into touch, so it's a rare mistake from the Irish scrum off. They'll go back and have a line out on the halfway line, will Japan. He's been good today as Conor Murray, but rare mistake there. So we've got time off here. We've got a bunch of people on. We're having a bit of water. Number 2 is down for Japan. That's Atushi Sakata. Jamie George is on for the Lions. Ken Owens leaves the field. Decent outing there for Ken Owens. Bundy Aki out there. So Owen Farrell on it inside center. I think this could very well be the test match pairing here. I think we could see Henshaw and Owen Farrell with Dan Bigger there at flower half. It's a nice combination. Owen Farrell's a very good operator. Having two playmakers who can play at 10 and 12 is also always a nice combination. I think that's probably what Warren Gatton will go with. I thought Bundy Aki was good in the first half. Had quite a few good carries. You know, was largely responsible for the first try. Definitely didn't do themselves any disservice today. Ball straight over the top. Matsushima runs onto it. He's not held in the tackle, so he's still going. So Japan into the originalized Lions half. They're past the 10-meter line as well. Matsushima, once again, he's pretty much been doing everything. He's been a first receiver. He's carried it all straight from the scrum. Good read there from Carl Sinclair. James Moore with the carry. And now going back towards the right-hand side. So the replacement's Craig Miller, who's wrapped up by Carl Sinclair. It's a very good defensive read by him. Japan being pegged back a little bit here. Need to try and do something a little bit different. Tamura brings in the replacement prop. That's number 18, Asela Avalu. Inside ball there off of Labuskakny. Pick up and go on Craig Miller. He's got Labuskakny in support. So it's a quick ball for the replacements come off. They've got players out wide. Oh, it's a big tackle. I think it's Josh Adams on Leo Lafar. And it's been turned over from the Lions. Liam Williams looking to run himself. He's chipped over the top. He's chasing it. He's chasing himself. It's been lost forward. I'm not sure it's been lost forward. Owen Farrell not kicking ahead. Referee's playing on. Japan all the way back inside that 22. Tamura the one who's cleaning up. So Japan all the way back in the 22, now trying to run it themselves. Oh, it's a big handoff on Tad Burry. He does manage to hold on there and bring the player down eventually. Craig Miller now gives it to his fellow forward. Quick ball for James Moore. A little bit isolated. There we go. We've got players out wide. Matsushima draws one. Draws the pass again. Labuskakny comes to the inside. It's nice from Japan to get up to the halfway line. Quick ball. Owen Farrell rushing off the line there. And get to the... Oh, he's through! He's through! Oh, he's off it! That's a good pop off the ground there for Craig Miller. Japan are well into Lions territory. They've got an advantage as well. They've got players on wide here. Player up top. Josh Adams trying to intercept it. They'll go back for the penalty. A nice bit of play there from Japan. Really good continuity. A couple of pops off the ground. Some hands through the tackle and offloads. Much better from Japan. That's kind of what we know for them. You know, seeing a couple of gaps, drawing the man pass. It's very simple, very effective. Also, I think Eddie Daly will start at 13 and Henshaw at 12 for test matches at altitude. Well, I mean, I think that's probably why Elliot Daly... I mean, I'm surprised he's been picked, to be honest. I don't really subscribe to the Elliot Daly fan club, to be honest. I was surprised that he was there. Yeah, at Hartford, that's what everybody reckons. They reckon he's there for his kicking ability. I think it's a bit of a cuck reason to be in the squad. But hey, we'll just have to wait and see. He is down at the centre, so that is in theory where he would play. So it's a decent kick there from Tamura. The Japanese will have a line out on the 5-meter line. So a nice opportunity. I mean, 58 minutes. My clock's been off for a while. We're at 58 minutes. Nice time to try and get some points on the board for the Japan. They're about 8 meters out. First things first, you've got to try and find your jumper, which they do. And number 20 peels off the side. He's still going. He's still going. Hey, he's got his ground. He's got his hands on that. That's been awarded. Try time. It's the replacement. Kazuki Himino. Brilliant carry by him. I think he almost couldn't believe that he was still going. So Japan get their first points on the board in almost the 59th minute. It's the 5th try for Himino. Fantastic little carry from him. As I said, he almost couldn't believe he was still going. It was a solid line-out win. Looked like they were going to go for more, but he peeled off the back, he rode the contact, and he just sort of kept going. Yeah, it's Falatau who then shifts off. Then Jamie George as well, but a couple of players come through the back, and that gives them the extra boost, the extra power. Yeah, it's Courtney Laws who can't make the tackle. No, it is Falatau. It's Falatau who misses the first tackle, and then it's Jamie George and Dan Bigger trying to hold him up. But a couple of players pile into the back of Himino, and they've got the power to push him over, and Tamura will have his first kick at goal for the day in the 60th minute. A bit late for a comeback, but maybe Japan can just sort of, you know, get something for their hard work, because they've deserved something out of the game. They haven't been all bad. They've had some moments. The very nice operator is you tomorrow. Yep, no issues there. He has the extra 7. Japan on the board, 20 minutes to go. Right, another substitution for Japan. Number 19, Jack Cornelson is on. Conor Murray is off as well for Ali Price. So Ali Price now will have 20 minutes to try and impress Warren Gatlin. Scramble is probably a bit of a one of the positions which I think is there's not a great amount of depth over there in the UK at the moment. Conor Murray was solid. He's just a bit lackluster, I think. He's quite slow sometimes. Usually got a very good tactical kicking back game, and Matsushima's busy being manhandled. They've completely picked him up here. That's not gone well at all. It's available though, so Japan have managed to hold on to it. Japan now going out to the left. Fafita cuts inside, rides the contact of Josh Adams. The ball's available though. Mura, they're now looking to go from right to left. It's the inside centre. He's been full of running today, has Nakamura. Oh, that's a bit of a half pass there. Lapis Labaskakni having to clean up. Gets the ball away. He's very isolated, so he'll need a bit of support. They've got an advantage though, do Japan. So Japan can sort of roll the dice, really. And they'll go back for the advantage. So they'll go back for Japan. So Japan looking a lot better. They're a little bit wind back in their sails now after that try, so they'll have a chance to try and kick their way into Lions territory and have another go. Gonzo, I saw Dave play for Wasp Centre, and he was very good. I heard about the game, and I've only heard good things from him for Centre. I say I'm still not a massive fan of him, but happy to be proven wrong. I also like Chris Harris. I'd like to see Chris Harris get given a go. Poor attempt to tackle by Faletau. Yeah, it was just, you got to make those tackles, don't you? It's a bit like the Robbie Henshaw try. You don't make those tackles. That's it's a stupid hit there from Josh Adams on number 15 Yamanaka. I don't know why he's complaining. You literally just went and tackled somebody out the ball. Solid win there from Japan. Inside ball, looking to wrap around. Rush defense from England. From the Lions. Oh, it's a very nice handling there. They're around the outside as Fafita. It's a bit of a seatbelt tackle from the looks of it, Joe. There's an advantage there. I think we could be seeing somebody go into the bin here. That looks like a horrible, horrible tackle. Yeah, just a penalty. It was Henshaw. It was a seatbelt tackle. You could see by the way he fell down. It wasn't a great tackle at all. Fafita going down the side there and stopped in his tracks by Robbie Henshaw, but it's just a penalty. No, man, don't do this. They've asked for the kicking tee. Guys, you're 21 points down. Yeah, exactly. Get that shit away. Kick for penalty. I mean, what? It's 28-10, that much better. No, hang on. I disagree with that. So they brought the tee on. But I don't think they ever told the ref that they were going for poles. They took the tee. He had the tee in his hand, and now the ref has decided, well, you had the tee, so you have to go for goal. But I was under the impression that you actually have to inform the referee that, and he asks you, what are you doing? You have to say, we're going for the poles. So I would like to go back and see if they actually did ever point and tell them directly they were going for poles. But Japan's decision had been made for them by the referee because Tomorrow had the kicking tee in his hand. I'm not sure what the official rule is. I'm not sure if it's... Yeah, I was under the impression that you have to tell the referee, even if it's just if it's a given, you just have to say we are going for poles. So I'm not sure if they did do that. Anyway, Tomorrow will have a chance to try and add to his international tally, which is well over 200 points in international rugby. And it's going to curve off to the left, so they won't even be able to get any points from there. So very frustrating for Japan. They shouldn't have even had the tee on in the first place, to be fair. There's no reason whatsoever to go for the 3 points. You're 21 points down. What's the point? Even if you get it, I mean, 28-10, is that really much better? Right, Liam Williams is leaving the field for Anthony Watson. Very, very good handle of the ball is Liam Williams. The ball just sort of seems to stick in his hands, carries with one hand, I mean, a couple of kicks where he's catching it over here, instead of, with the good old buckets. But Anthony Watson is on in number 23. Yeah, look, the commentator saying that Liam Williams did a really good job of staking a claim. You are not moving Stuart Hogg away from that number 15 jersey. That's one of the few jerseys which are locked in, and I think we all know Stuart Hogg's going to start that first test. So Japan on the attack now, inside Lions territory, trying to get past the 10-meter line. They've got an advantage. Tamura sees a gap, gets his hands free, but he can't find a player to get it to. Quick ball here for Japan. It's a solid run there from the number 20. That's Amino, the try scorer. That's a big hit over there in the middle. I think it's Carl Sinclair that makes the tackle there. Craig Miller picks up and goes. He's done that a few times. Japan are edging forward. Another solid carry. I think it's Latafela. Full advantage for Japan. He looks quite good as the scrum half here. Number 22, Naito Sato, who's on debut. He's looked quite bright so far since coming on. Japan grinding down the Lions defense, trying to get over the advantage line. There we go. Cuts inside, this Fafita. Inside the 22. So we go all the way back for the penalty. It's quite a nice play from Japan. They do it very well where they go through a couple of phases in the middle of the park and then they go out wide where they know they've got an overlap. And they're very patient, you know, they're happy to, even when they go on the overlap, you know, make 4 or 5 meters, come back inside, run a few phases, create that gap, once again, go out wide. Get 4 or 5 meters, come inside. They're willing to do that all the time. No, man, don't bring in the kicking tee. What are you doing? What are you doing? It's 28-7. It's 30 minutes to go. What reason could you have for going for the 3 points? It makes absolutely no sense. Okay, Alun Wyn Jones back at the stash, trying to have a look at his wrist, see if it's wrapped up or what the issue is there. Well, he's not strapped. Well, he's wearing his watch on his left wrist. There's no strapping at all, so that's good signs for the British and Irish Lions captain. Because when he walked off, you could see in his face it didn't look good, and I think he was worried that was the end of his journey. But he doesn't have any strapping on, so hopefully it was just a bit of an awkward landing, and he's all right. Because yeah, I mean it'll be heartbreaking if he can't get on the plane. So Japan going for 3 points here, which I think is the dumbest decision of the day. They're 21 points down. I mean, what's the point? 28-7. 28-10 is no different. 28-14 on the other hand. So he slotted it. Look, I mean, if you got the last kick and you got this kick, then suddenly it's 28-13. But, I mean, really, it's just a bit pointless. You know, be a bit braver. You're the brave blossoms. Blossom and be brave. Right. Oh, it's a big tackle on Lapis Avaskakni. That's Robbie Henshaw, the man that nails him there. Right, so there's something that we want to try that we're testing for the Lions series, and that's a player rating system. So it's been in the works for a while. Meanwhile, Japan have gone all the way down into the Lions territory. It's a very nice run from them. Turnover ball, the knock on there, it's an advantage to the Lions. Owen Farrell comes away with it. And now I'll go down the blind side. Anthony Watson comes inside. He gets it's a very nice take from Courtney Laws. He gets away to Ali Price. Good handling here from the Lions. Oh, and he can't hold on to it. I think it's Anthony Watson there. And they'll go back for the scrum. But Japan under a lot of pressure here. Very nice handling there from the Lions. Yeah, so we're trying a rating system. So okay, the time is all. But as I say, so we're trying something where what we want to do for this Lions series is the plan is to try it is after every match to rate the players, and it's going to be all completely done by you. So we've got a whole rating system. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do a live show. Then we actually go through the ratings themselves and sort of discuss it and try and rate every player out of 10 and stuff like that. So I'm busy trying to sort it out now. I'll try and post it. I'll try and see if we can get it sorted before the end of the match. This time is off. A couple of players receiving some attention. But Jack Conan has just gone off, and the Lions are actually going to finish the game with 40 men. They've used all their subs. And Tipperick and Alun Wyn Jones are the players that were off. So the Lions will play with 14, which look to with 11 minutes to go is not the worst idea. I'd rather do that than risk injuries. You know, the last thing you need is more injuries at the moment. So, but that's not good to see. Jack Conan or that's 3 Lions players who have left the field with an injury throughout the game, which is the biggest worry of the game. Because I mean, number 1 would be to put in a big performance. Number 2 is to make sure every player gets in safely. And at this stage, they haven't. Penalty from the scrum there from Japan, so they have a chance to try and boot their way back up into Lions territory. Yeah, so busy finalizing our voting system now. I'll put a link in the comments and we can all go and vote. Just want to make sure that and test it and see if it's working all right, see what everybody has to think. But yeah, the idea is that we're going to rate all the players out of 10 and then we'll have a show on a Sunday. We'll go live and pretty much just talk through everybody's ratings and see what everybody has rated everybody as, and see what they have to think. Francois says, no, sorry, Toby Hart says your blossoms puns are growing on me. I'll try and prepare some lines one for the tour. It's a nice wraparound play here from Japan. You are full of running. Matsushima now going on the outside. They get past the halfway line. Francois, I think it was Alun Wyn's shoulder, not his wrist. I suppose it could be a shoulder. I mean, they kind of sort of kept looking at his wrist and moving it, but I suppose it could also be attached to the shoulder. Trying to go out wide on Japan. And Hermina, oh, that's a nice little tap out the back. Knock on red. I think there's another knock on from Japan, so they'll go back for that. Fantastic piece of skill by from Firmino, right up against the touchline, behind his back, the little one-hand pass, very well played by him. Da-da-da-da-da. The scrum here for Japan on the halfway line. It's Fafita. He's been used as a ball carrier. I mean, it's funny how they use the wings so much, often as first receiver. And I mean, we sometimes see wings being used as crash balls, but I mean, Matsushima, that's a very Juma, look, sit down, Dan, bigger. Fafita Tafau, who's just sat down. The lines fly half. Oh, and the pass is poor to the side, and it's going to run out. Pity, that was a very nice piece of play there. Japan, a brilliant handle, but I think they had an advantage though. Use your words, ref, use your words. Dan Bear going up very hard. Tatapir says, thank you very much. Now sit on your ass. Brilliant run there from number 21 there. And Dan Baker will not want to watch that. That's a huge hit on him. Yeah, he'll be the brunt of a few jokes back in the changing room, no doubt. Right, it's Japan with the penalty going down to the touchline. 8 minutes to go to try and get themselves another try on the board. And I think they'll deserve it. And I think if they can make it a respectable scoreline, they can finish, 28-17. That's a very nice result for Japan, who just go from strength to strength. And as I said, bear in mind that this is a side that has not played since the World Cup. That was the last time the Japanese side played. So this looks good from Japan. They're up to the 5 meter line. Quick ball. They've got players out wide. The pass goes over the top. Fafita's got a lot to do. Cuts inside. Can he get there? No, he's come short. He's come short. Is he over? Has he got a second? Oh, it's been held up. It's been held up. Almost looked like he was over for a second try, but not to be. But Japan looking good here. Very nice from Matsushima. I mean, the two wings can hold their heads up very high. They've been very, very good for Japan. Been used as first receiver, as crash balls. They've been everywhere today. Da-da-da-da-da. I'm just trying to get this link sorted for our player rater so we can go and give it a go. So we're going to start with a scrum here, right on the left-hand side, 5 meter. It will be a Japanese put-in. So if they can, yeah, I mean, if they can, as I said, I mean, anything really goes here. If they can try and score another try, just make a nice, respectable scoreline, I suppose, is the main thing. Another reset just for a blooming change. So, who's your man of the match? Who has impressed you the most in this Lions side? And that'll be the nice thing about adding the ratings play. And we also want to try and add a man of the match function as well, so we can sort of decide on a fan vote man of the match. Japan right on the try line here. Can they deserve a try? Tamura goes for the cross kick. Cross kick. Oh, and Anthony Watson's got too much pace. I think they had a penalty advantage. They do, so they'll go back for the penalty. Would have been a brilliant try if they did manage to score it. Right, so just literally 4 minutes left here. Can Japan score another try? They would really deserve it. They've been very good. Literally since that try, Himino's been a fantastic. And as I say, that's a knock on, very poor knock on. There's the number 12 there that's knocked it on. Nakamura, and the Lions are now going to try and run it. Duvan van der Merwe takes it up. So the three nominated for man of the match by the British and Irish Lions Twitter account is Duvan van der Merwe, Tash Byrne, and Dan Bigger. What are we reckoning here? What are we reckoning? I'm going to go out. I think it's probably going to be Dan Bigger. I think he's been my most impressive player so far. Okay, so Japanese lineup shares the result. It's 73 minutes. Let me just sort of sort my clock out there. So they've been coming close to Japan, but it's been very good defense. Hey, Matsushima's burst through here. Has he got the pace? He loses his footing. The support needs to come here. Lost his footing. Looked like he had the pace on Duvan van der Merwe. And it's been turned over. It's been lost forward by Japan. That kind of sums up their day. Lots of good followed by lots of bad. Matsushima has been tireless today. He really has put in a mega shift. Grant Swartz, Dad, mega man of the match. Sure, yeah, I'm with you there. I think he's been superb. Very impressed with him. I think he's definitely made a big statement for his potential his potential test inclusion there. Right, once again, Japan from the line out. Can they think of something here? 1 minute to go. They've been parked in the Lions half for about the last 20 minutes. It's a horrible pass behind him. It's a horrible pass behind him. Right, so I'm going to put it in the comments here. And a penalty to the Lions. That'll be the ball game. 25 seconds left on the clock. Yeah, Bigger has been voted man of the match. So right there's the link there to rate the players. Something new that we're trying out. Let me know what you think of it. Let me know if it's all working for you, if you have any issues. We won't be doing a show based on it. This is more just a test run. The idea is that from next week, from the actual tour, we're going to be doing voting and stuff like that, and then we'll actually be doing a live show. We'll go through all those votes and see what everybody thought about the performances and stuff like that. So please go and visit that link. Let me know if it's working. Let me know what you think about it, if you have any suggestions. So the hooter has gone. So, I mean, it's a case of the Lions just winning the line out here and kicking it out, and it will be the end of the ball game unless they want something a bit more. They are going for it. It's Dan Bigger who takes into contact. Ali Price goes out. It's a good inside run there from Robbie Henshaw. A nice line run by him. Ali Price goes out wide. Anthony Watson's got Josh Adams with him. Josh Adams comes inside. Like I said, Samina, what a player. Yeah, he's been fantastic since coming on. Wyn Jones there, now carrying it up. The Lions want another try. They want a respectable scoreline, but they've been greedy. They've been greedy and they've lost it. Japan have turned the ball over. Trying to work down the left-hand side here. They've got a penalty advantage here, dude. Japan, they've got a penalty there. They can kick towards the... Oh, they're taking it quickly. That's a bit strange. Nakamura makes a nice carry. They're up towards the 10 meters in the lines. Can't afford to make a mistake now. Good handling there. Good handling there from number 13. The inside ball goes to Anthony Watson. Now the Lions are trying to go for it. It's gone into touch though, so that will be the end of the game. British and Irish Lions start with a winning start, 28 points to 10 against Japan. Japan had their chances, but were blown away in the first half. Second half finishes, I suppose, 10 points to 7, really, in favour of Japan. So, an impressive performance from the Japanese, who haven't played rugby in a long, long time. But for Warren Gatlin has made his job done. A couple of injury concerns over Jack Conan, Alun Wyn Jones, and Justin Tipperick. So we'll have to wait and see what that. Thank you very much for watching. We're literally sitting on 17.99. So if you can, just one person can subscribe to the channel right now, we hit that 1800 mark. But thank you very much for hanging out. We'll have a review out very shortly, and we'll be back tomorrow with some Curry Cup reviews and getting ready for our coverage of the Lions tour. Thank you very much. Have a fantastic evening. Enjoy the Premiership final later. My name is Stephen, and I'll